Our most asked questions about productivity and time management. Hello, my name is Anna Lagrange and I'm one half of Baba Business.
And my name is Liz Stamford, and I am the other half of Baba Business. Right, first question, which I'm sure so many of us can relate to. I'm juggling family, clients, and admin. You could also put in there, I'm juggling family, clients, life admin. How do I find time to actually grow the business? And this is really difficult, isn't it? Because it depends on so much. Like, it depends on your time of life, your kids' time of life, like how old your kids are. It depends on how long your business has been going for. It depends on, it does just depend on so much. And I think something that we're probably both going to agree on is that you're going to have to be super organized to be able to grow
Yeah.
and manage everything else around you, which is why we put so much focus and emphasis at Baba on planning and getting really
Planning.
at planning. So sorry for the dry answer, but that is probably going to be the best thing you can do for your business. And we have a thing which you introduced me to, Anna, which is called Ideal Week, isn't it? So do you want to explain that?
Yeah.
Helpful here.
Yeah, so having an ideal week is about thinking with your busy life, like what time do you realistically have? Because I think often we'll tell ourselves stories or we'll have a vision of how much time we really have in our business. And so, for some people, they think they've got way more time. That's me,
Yeah,
way more time they have. And for some people, they'll come into this and they'll be like, oh, no, I don't have any time. I've got so much on. And then when we actually sit down and look at, how much time they actually have a lot more than they realize. So how you do it, what you do is you get you can write it out, you can write it out yourself, or if you remember, we've got access to this in the membership. You just have a sort of calendar with it, all the working days of the week on it, and then the first thing you put in is your non-negotiable, the things you have to do. Like, I don't know, for me it's gonna be like school pickups, my children's therapy sessions, football on a Friday, whatever. We don't do football on a Friday, but that was just an example. So those sorts of things that you have to do, they're things that you've chosen, you've made a decision to do for your
yeah,
family or whatever. Or it could be your mum's hospital appointment each week or whatever it is. Then once you've done that, the next thing is to put in your self-care. You don't
yeah.
start on the work stuff yet. You put in something for yourself. So I don't really have a regular thing at the moment. Actually, just really giving myself a bit of a kick up the bum there, because
Yeah.
I haven't got a regular thing. So it was for me dance yoga, but my lovely dance yoga teacher has just become a client. She's now about to have a baby. So she's not teaching dance yoga, and I haven't filled that with anything particular. So that is very naughty. So even if it's just one thing a week, like one yoga class a week, or if it's a walk at lunchtime, which I know is something that you have committed to a lot in the past, or it could be a bit of yoga before you get up. It doesn't have to, whatever it is for you. We have got a client who she does jiu-jitsu. Is it karate? Anyway, that's what she does. So it could be anything, but put that in next so that you are absolutely prioritizing that, because that is a non-negotiable. And then you chunk out, and by the way, if you've got another job, obviously your job hours would be in that first section, and then you look at what you've got left. And then the next thing to do is write down your types of tasks you do for your job. So obviously you've got your client facing stuff, like your classes and all that kind of stuff. Then you put that in, then you write a list of the other things you need to do. So for example, you're going to have social media creation, perhaps writing your blog post, perhaps it's it should definitely be reaching out and networking outreach to other people, sales conversations, email follow-up. There's a lot we have to do as business owners that isn't directly client facing. I think we don't always realize how much that's going to be. So it's really important to have it in a plan. Then once you've done that, then you can start slotting it into different times of the week. So this isn't about your week looking exactly like that. This is about having a reality check about how much I actually need to do and when can I fit it in, and then being quite strict with that.
Yeah.
As strict as you can, but every week's different. But then it just gives you a bit of an idea, and then you can see, okay, well, I'm going to spend 2 hours a week on creating, my social media ideas, or I'm going to spend half an hour every single day reaching out to somebody else in the birth world in my area, whatever it is. And then you just try your best to stick to it. Basically, that's how it works.
Well, you've got more chance of to it if you've created that plan and it's clearing your mind.
Yes.
The other thing I think is really important for this particular person is support. So what are the support?
Mm.
Does this person have a partner? Do they have any friends and family that they can rely on as well? I think often what we do as women, whether we've got partners or not, is that we'll often take on and shoulder a lot of the responsibility. So we are doing. Like, so we're, driving kids here and there and picking them up and doing that. And that really does eat into a lot of not your free time, but your available time.
Work time in.
So if you've got a partner, I think being really open and honest about how important this is to you and how you are struggling for time and you're finding it really difficult, and is there anything that they can do to step up to support you, or equally, anyone else in your life that can help you. Like we've talked about before, how it's so important to have like those other mum friendships when you've got kids, so that you can help each other. You can have their kids over one day, and then you might not be able to work much on that day, but you can send your kids round to their house, and then you've got time to work. So finding those connections and that support network is really important. And then equally along the same lines is having a community of people who might not be physically there for you, but who get it. So for example, BABA membership, or finding your biz bestie, doesn't have to be in the BABA membership, finding your biz bestie who can talk you through the sort of overwhelm or the frustration or the downtime, so that you can get back to doing the work that you love and that you can get back to growing that business. So I think that would be one of my big top tips there as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. And look, it doesn't have to be about childcare. It can be stuff like help around the house. It can be having a cleaner. It can be having someone do your washing. Some people like absolutely hate meal prep, so making meal prep as easy as possible. So like whether it's buying one of those boxes that comes at the beginning of the week and you don't have to think about anything and just chop it all up, to getting your own personal chef or whatever, you know what I mean? Like it can be, it's really thinking about what are the things that take up a lot of your time that actually could be handed over to somebody else. Is that possibly part of your business building plan? And just looking at it all. I think sometimes we can really fall into victim mode with this as mums. I think particularly we can really fall into victim mode, and especially those of us, we are very much be there supporting people. We like to be needed, we like to be wanted, and we love supporting people. That's why we've gone into this role of supporting people in our lives. But we have to get real. Like we can only take on so much, so we have to be really real about what is it you want to prioritize. Do you want to look, if you want to prioritize your children being at home with you for the first few years of their life, that's fine. That's a choice. If you can do that and that's a choice you're able to make, then make that choice. That's okay. I've got lots of clients, people who've worked with me, who they might teach like one class a week and do a little bit because they want to spend loads of time with their kids when they're young. A lot of people I work with can't do that, and they do need to work more hours and therefore they have to find childcare solutions. Do you know what I mean? All of it's a choice, but this thing that we've been told in our generation of like we can do it all, we actually can't. We actually can't do it all. The juggle can be really hard. We have to have a reality check again about what is it we want, and let's get real about that, and let's figure out how we're going to do it, and hopefully with our partner, or like you say, other supportive people around us, and work out how am I actually going to, this is a dream of mine, how am I actually going to make it work, and who can help me with it.
100%. I think we carry so much on our shoulders, and we so much pressure on ourselves. But yeah, I absolutely agree with everything that you've been saying. So
right, I've got another question, which is, what are the key things I should be focusing on weekly to keep momentum but without burning out? Well, kind of like almost just beautifully segued from that last question. You've got to this got on.
No, you look like you were deep in thought there.
No, look, I think again this comes down to planning, is my view. if you've got a set time of, which we all do, but let's say you've really got a short amount of time to work on your business, and we're in the thick of the summer holidays, many people right now, so we know time is really tight. The key to running a successful business and growing a business when time is tight is to be laser focused on your goals and what the actions are that are going to take you to get there. That's how to do it. And to do that, you have to have a planning system in place, so that each week, each month, each week, each day, you're like, this is my goal, and these are the steps I'm going to take, so that when you have half an hour that day to just work on your business and you haven't got anything else because it's summer holidays and that's all the nap time is going to be, then in that half an hour, that you've got 3 things you can do, and they're going to actually take you towards their goal. They're not going to be like, oh, having a bit of a faff around on Canva. You know what I mean? They're like action that are going to lead to sales. And that's where your planning comes in, because then it makes you just very focused on meeting your goals.
Yeah, I totally agree. And what I was going to go, my brain went to immediately is like, if this person is so busy and overwhelmed and they're just like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do, then the only thing you can focus on really, the top thing you should be focusing on is sales. So you haven't got this if you aren't making sales. So anything leads to sales. So following up on those inquiries that maybe you've let dry up, reaching out to connections in your network to help you get in front of your ideal client, and doing all the usual marketing strategies to drive sales is really, really is going to be key.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, exactly. It's often the stuff that we don't necessarily want to do. And yet the thing we should be doing. I mean, so many people come to me and like, oh, I can't really start yet because my website's not ready. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You do not need a website to run a business. Yes,
Yeah.
you want to have some way that people can find you on, but that can actually just be a Google business profile. It's actually all you need. That people can Google you and see, oh, there she is. That's what she offers, and it can be as simple as that. You do not need a website to start bringing money into your business. What other things do people sort of say to when they're getting started? I think website is the most common one. Sometimes it is not really knowing, what it is they want to offer and feeling a bit unsure about everything. But just again, it is just getting back to that clarity and planning. Yeah.
Perfectionism, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did we?
Okay, I think we've got one more question. Do you want to ask this one?
You go ahead because my computer switched off.
Okay. So, how do I stay productive when I'm working solo and I'm constantly interrupted by life? I've got quite a good story on this.
Go on then.
So I definitely am very much somebody who has in the past allowed life to hold me back from growing my business. And what I do is like things will happen. So it'll be like, it could be drama, or it could be this, it could be that. It doesn't really matter what it is, just things happening. And I use it and as an excuse to kind of put myself in victim mode. And it stops me from doing the uncomfortable and difficult things in my business that I don't really want to do, because perhaps I'm putting myself out there, or they're being visible, or they're reaching out, or they're making those sales calls. And I'll tell myself, like, my thing in my head is I'm too busy, I'm too busy, I'm too busy. But really all it is, it's a voice in my head that's telling me, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm too scared to do that because of whatever, because it feels uncomfortable, because I don't want to ask for the sale, because I'm worried someone's going to reject me. So that has very much, that question could have been a question from me maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, when I was always saying, I'm just too busy, and being really angry about it as well, like, just resentful that I couldn't grow my business, and then feeling really crap about myself. I'm no good at this, and it's because of this. And I was giving all these excuses that were my husband and my children, all these things that actually, when I looked at it and when I did decide to like look at this and be like, a lot of this stuff I'm just making up, quite honestly.
Yeah, or making it a bigger deal than it needs to be.
Yes.
We all get interrupted by life. It happens to all of us. But I think if you're running your own business and you're managing your own time, then you are the controller of that. So if like kids are interrupting you in the day, then you know, you can work in the evening when they've gone to bed. I know that both of us have, you know, done that as our kids were growing up. Or you could get up earlier in the morning to have some free time to do it then. Or, you know, if you don't want to do either of those things, then you have to start thinking to yourself, well, do I really want what I say I want? Is this the right time of my life for me to be going after the thing
Yes.
that I want? Maybe it's a future thing when the kids are bigger and you're less tired and you've got more motivation for what it is that you want to achieve. And there's no shame, like I'm not saying that as in to like point at people or to shame people. There's no harm in that, but it's about working out what your priorities are right now. But in terms of the productive stuff, you know, I would say the planning thing that we've said about your ideal week is going to really help with that. But also, so is the mindset stuff as well, like having those rituals in your day. And I know people might say, you know, oh, well, that's just going to take up more time in my day. But no, it's going to make you more productive. So instead of like, you know, you sit down at your computer and you're like, oh my, what am I supposed to be doing? Well, you look at your ideal day, you look at your goals, your milestones, and you immediately know what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And because you've done your rituals, you feel motivated and driven towards doing it. So that is what I would say about that one, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, you know, the other thing is that if you've got older kids, well, you've got choices as well. Like you can get childcare. You can decide. I've been that many times in my life. I thought I have any childcare. Well, actually, I think I need. If I really want to make this work, I'm going to have to get some childcare in. I'm going to have to, you know, my kids are going to have to 2 mornings a week or whatever it is. It's evolved as they grew older. You know, or you know, I'm going to send my mum perhaps put my daughter in childcare a little bit earlier than I was going to, or whatever it is, you know. Or if you've got older kids, it's about having that conversation with your kids and being like, I'm working. These are my working hours. And when you have a problem, like for example, like when me and my husband were working from home, why am I always a default parent? When I'm working, if you need, you know, if you need me, obviously, if it's a life or death situation, let me know. If it's not, you do have another parent. And if they're on a break, or you're just gonna have to wait till we're done. Obviously, I know that's obviously we've got to a certain life point for that to be the case, but kids need to know as well, like it's really good for them to important that you know we're bringing income into the house, part of our family, you know, we're all team players. And one of my jobs is that between these hours and these hours, I'm working on my business. The more you interrupt me, that more that takes away from that time we have later on together, whatever we're going to do. We're going to go out for a walk, or we're going to have a family dinner or whatever. So these are my working hours, and you do not, and, you know, be a bit firm about it. And that's about boundaries with your family. It's really important as a business owner that you let other people know that you're serious about this business, and you need them to be serious about it as well. This isn't just a little hobby that you'll fit in around everybody else's needs. Actually, no, this is a business. I want to make money. I want to make a profit off of this, and therefore I need all of you to understand how important this is to me. I'm not saying I'm not going to be there for you ever, but I'm just saying that these are my boundaries, whatever they are, and let's all work towards respecting them. And I think it's really important to teach our kids those lessons as well.
Yeah, I do as well. Like I've always had this belief that I'm sort of taking my kids on the journey with me. Like I'm that there's a different way for them to have a career. You know, it doesn't have to be like 9 to 5 office type job. They can do something about. So I totally agree with that. But it's all of this advice is or this conversation is very dependent on individuals' situation.
Of course.
Take what works for you, and you know, leave behind what doesn't. Don't come for us if you don't agree.
Oh, we're here for the conversation. Pop on the socials, let us know what works for you, what doesn't. We love chatting about the podcast. And if you are enjoying this conversation and you do like the podcast, please don't forget to subscribe, to give us a review, to share as well, and to let us know how how you're finding it. We love your feedback, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.